Hey, so I just want to say this video discusses parental addiction and childhood trauma. If that's something you're navigating right now, please be gentle with yourself. So, I'm Nicole. Welcome back to Between the Cracks. Today I want to talk about my mom. This is one I've been sitting on for a while because it's complicated, because the feelings about a parent with addiction is never simple. You don't get to just be angry or just be sad or just be one thing. It's all of it at once for your whole life. So I'm going to try to tell it honestly, the way it actually was. Not to hurt anyone, not for sympathy, but because I know there are people watching this who are carrying the exact same complicated feelings about their own parents. And I want them to feel less alone in it. Honestly, I don't remember that much about my mom that wasn't connected to the drinking. I was so young when I left, and most of the memories are wrapped up in what the alcohol did to her and to us. But I really do believe that before the alcohol took over, before the bad coping strategies set in, she was a good person. She got her CNA license, she tried. She sent things when she could, packages from the angel tree, gifts that weren't always the right size, but were her way of reaching across the distance. She tried. I believe that. I just think she needed more help than she ever got. She was tiny, 100 pounds soaking wet, and alcohol did a number on the body that small. What I remember is the drinking. That's most of what I have. I remember her drinking all the time. I remember one time accidentally taking a drink from her cup and it being beer. I was a little kid. I didn't know. I remember her falling, hitting her head on the dresser. I remember times when she was so drunk she couldn't even sit on the toilet without falling over, and I had to hold her steady. A little girl holding her mother steady in the bathroom because nobody else was there to do it. That was my normal. I didn't know it wasn't everyone's normal until much later. There were men in and out. There was chaos. There was a little girl in the middle of all of it, just trying to keep things together. And I loved her through all of it. I want to be clear about that. I loved my mom. Even when things were in their worst, I loved her and I wanted her to get better. I've thought about my mom a lot as I've gotten older, especially as I've gone through my own mental health journey, and now as I study as a social worker. I think she had depression and anxiety that went completely undiagnosed her whole life. I think she didn't have the language for it. She didn't have access to care. She grew up poor. We were poor. She didn't have the tools or the support system of someone to say, hey, what are you feeling? What are you feeling has a name and there is help for it. And so she found something that numbed it. That's what addiction so often is. Not weakness, not selfishness. A person trying to survive something they didn't know how to survive any other way. My sister and I both carry depression and anxiety too. We both take medication now. That helps. And I think about what our mom's life might have looked like if she had gotten the same help. If someone had seen what was underneath the drinking and treated that instead of just treating the symptom. She also tried rehab. She tried to get better. It didn't stick. And I understand now that addiction is a disease with relapse built into the recovery process. It wasn't as simple as just choosing to stop. She was in jail for a while. I know that from letters. I don't know the full story. I just know she was struggling in more ways than I was able to understand as a child. I want to say something that I think a lot of people who grew up with an addicted parent feel, but are afraid to say out loud. I love my mom, and I'm also kind of glad I wasn't there for the rest of her life, watching her disappear. Both of those things are true, and I carried both of them at the same time for years. That's its own kind of weight. She passed away from a brain aneurysm, found out a month after she died. She had untreated breast cancer and other health issues on her death certificate. Things she never got taken care of. She spent her whole life not getting the care she deserved. And I wonder sometimes if someone had caught the depression early, if someone had given her real coping tools, if someone had treated the mental health underneath the addiction instead of just watching her drink herself sick, would she still be here? I'll never know. I'm a very careful drinker. I always have been, because I watched what alcohol does to a person, to a family, to a child who loves their parent and can't save them. I don't ever want to be my mom. Not because she was bad, but because I don't ever want my kids to carry what I carried. I don't want my stepdaughter to steady me on the toilet someday. I don't want her to grow up the way I grew up. I got on medication. I got into therapy. I went back to school. I'm building something my mom never had the chance to build. And I don't think that makes me stronger than her. I think that makes me luckier. I got the help she deserved and never got. That's not something I take lightly. If you love someone who is struggling with addiction, please hear me. They are not choosing the bottle over you. They are trying to survive something they don't have the tools to survive any other way. The most loving thing you can do is encourage them toward real help. Not ultimatums, not shame, real help. Therapy, medication if needed, coping skills, treatment. If you are struggling with addiction yourself, I see you. And I want you to know that the thing underneath the drinking, the depression, the anxiety, the trauma, the pain, that thing has a name. And it can be treated. You don't have to numb it forever. There is another way through. And if you grew up with a parent who had addiction, your feelings are valid. All of them. The love, the anger, the grief, the relief. You don't have to pick one. You can hold all of it. That's what healing actually looks like. My mom didn't get what she needed. I'm going to spend my career making sure other people do. That's what Between the Cracks is. The help she deserved for everyone who needed it and didn't get it. I'm Nicole. I fell through the cracks and I came back to find you.